It was on May 8th, with the blessings of Metropolitan Isaiah. It was a Sunday again that year, like it will be tomorrow Sunday. And the feast day of St. John the Theologian, the second son, we call him, of Panagia, because Christ bequeathed his mother to his care. And the commemoration of this special miracle that takes place at Ephesus, or that was taking place. And it happens to be in America, Mother's Day, which is significant. Why? Because St. John is the second son of the Panagia, our mother. She is the mother of us all, the Panagia. Our mother, the church, always we refer to our church as our mother. And on that day, we first did the first agiasmo. We came from the Divine Liturgy, celebrated, led by His Eminence Metropolitan Isaiah. Many priests were with him, including myself. And we came over here after and invited people, and many people came. I had with me at that time Father Nectarios, who has since passed away, God rest his soul, and Father Konstantinos, who returned to the monastery shortly thereafter. And we did the first agiasmo. The agiasmo is a very important mystery of the Church, in which plain water from the spring, from the faucet, is sanctified. And we sprinkled these waters throughout the whole house here, which was very different than it is today, and we glorify God for that because of the help of so many people, and you all who are here, and many who will remain nameless right now, because there are so many people who on that day saw in the Spirit, so to speak, with God's inspiration, what was coming here. We did not know and plan for it to be a monastery. We were moving into, that's another good point about the Mother's Day and the fact that Christ gave his mother to the care of John, about motherhood and Mother's Day that it was. This home that turned into the monastery was the home of my mother's mother. And initially, Mother had just said that, well, why don't you three monks, Father Nectarios with me and Father Konstantinos with me, stay in grandmother's old house until you decide what you're going to do. His Eminence was hoping that maybe we would be given $1 million to buy a piece of land, or given a piece of land, and so forth and so on. But in the meantime, His Eminence gave us the antimintion, that special cloth upon which you need to celebrate holy liturgies. And we started celebrating liturgies here every Saturday with His Eminence's blessing, but not only with his blessing, with his suggestion, so that I would be free on Sundays to visit all the parishes, so that it be known that we're here to begin a monastic dwelling somehow. And so it happened. And I sincerely believe by his prayers, His Eminence, and of course by the prayers of my Gheronda, Amphilochios, the Metropolitan of Ganu and Hora now, previously the abbot of my monastery, the monastery of my repentance on the island of Rhodes, the monastery has become a very vibrant place of worship and prayer in a humble manner. And it's hardly, or rather it's quite remarkable that in the middle of a city in secular America, where we, the Church, are about less than 1% of the population, in a nice neighborhood, in a metropolis city like Denver, that such a place of prayer would be established. And we glorify God, who certainly wants all people to reap salvation, to come to the knowledge of truth, to live in His kingdom. But of course, as the book of Revelations tells us, it won't be completely packed in heaven, because everyone will not believe. Everyone won't live in repentance. Everyone will not recognize Christ as the Alpha and the Omega and live in that repentant life, which should sadden us to a degree, because unless we live the true life of Christ that He wants us to live, of humility, of repentance, of prayer, of spiritual discipline, we will not become those lights that He wants us to become. And we have to, because we owe it to ourselves, to our parents who gave us birth into this world, to strive for our salvation, and then in striving for our salvation, to live in humility and love, to hopefully become those lights that Christ wants us to in this world that wallows in darkness. And what kind of darkness is that? It's in indifference. There's a lot of fun things happening, and ball games and theater and opera and music and so forth, all seemingly nice things, but they steal away our focus on Christ and our repentance. And so sometimes we can think that we're on the road of repentance when really we're on the road to destruction. The road is narrow, Christ tells us, and it is steep, and it takes a lot of work to work out one's salvation, as the Apostle Paul tells us. And so we're very, very grateful that the Brotherhood of Saint George, with His Eminence's blessings, has also given to that effort with our few churches in the Denver area and beyond, to help people realize what the truth is and what the focus should be in our lives. That is why, of course, we gather and celebrate liturgies and glorify God together, humbly, prayerfully, and then we have something to drink and to eat afterwards, a cup of coffee, to encourage one another.